Friday is a huge day for Maryland football.
You are Locked On Terps, your daily podcast on the Maryland Terps. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everyone? I'm Tre Moore, video content creator for 247 Sports and InsideMarylandSports.com, and host of Locked On Terps for the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So thank you for making us part of your day. And today's episode is brought to you by the Gametime app. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Friday means decision day for a lot of different players, not just one player. I know we're going to talk about one main guy, but for a couple of different players that could change the trajectory of Maryland football and could do a lot of different things that even a lot of you probably aren't even thinking about, that could really take this Maryland football program maybe to the next step, to the next level, to the next whatever you want to say, to the next level that we have not seen Maryland football hit. And we have a chance to do something really big tomorrow on Friday, or some of you guys might be watching this on Friday. It's decision day for a couple of different players, one in particular that can change our program. And you guys know who it is. 4-star quarterback, a top 15, top 10 quarterback to a lot of people in the nation in the 2025 class out of Spalding, Malik Washington. This kid has a chance to be the next big thing for Maryland football, the next big thing. He has a chance to take Maryland football to a place where we haven't seen. And I truly do believe that. I've seen this kid play. I've seen this kid play in person. I've seen his film. I've seen a lot of different things on Malik Washington. I also see where he's rated. And there's a reason why a lot of people have Malik Washington as a really high-level quarterback in the 2025 class. Well, not a lot of people. Just about everybody has Malik Washington as a really high-level quarterback. If you look at the ratings, he's rated as a 4-star on 247's normal rating and their composite ratings, which you don't always see. He's ranked as the 3rd best player in Maryland, the 14th best quarterback, and 180th ranked nationally on the rankings, which is a really good spot. Whenever you're in the top 350, top 250 types of guys, whenever you have that 4-star attached to your name, you're a pretty good player. And tomorrow he will announce his decision at 1 o'clock. And there's a couple different things, couple different reasons why this is such an important day for Maryland football and why landing Malik Washington is so important for the Terps. I think to start, you got to start with he's a quarterback. He's a quarterback. Whenever you have a chance to land a 4-star quarterback, the guy that plays the most important position in maybe all of sports, quarterback might be the most important position. It's probably not point guard. It's probably not something else, left wing in hockey or whatever you may think is the most important position in sports. Quarterback has probably got to be. It's not striker in soccer or center back or whatever you think it is. The most important position in sports is quarterback. The quarterback, there's not a position in sports that influences the game. There's not a position on the football field that influences the game like the quarterback position does. So the fact that we have a chance to land not only a really highly ranked recruit, but it'd be different if this guy was a 4-star wide receiver or a 4-star running back or a 4-star corner or something like that. It would be a big deal, don't get me wrong. Anytime we have a chance to land a guy with that type of pedigree and everything, it's really cool. It's a really big thing. It's a really big deal. But the fact that Malik Washington is a quarterback takes it to another level of importance. It takes it to another level of something that can really change this Maryland program. It could take us somewhere different. A quarterback can change a college football program because Maryland is the first-hand example of that with Talia Tagovailoa. He changed this program. He changed what Maryland football was. Talia brought this program to new heights that we haven't really seen in a while. He got this program out of the dumps, and he was really able to change this program. And for us to continue being a good program, having a guy like Malik Washington at the quarterback position is extremely important. So tomorrow, or if you guys are watching on Friday, whatever you're watching it, when he makes his decision, it is going to be a humongous decision because he's a quarterback one. That's the first reason. Second, maybe another really important thing that comes pretty close, it's the domino effect. When you land one of these guys, when you land one of these high-level types of players like Malik Washington, it's a domino effect on other players. Other guys want to go to Maryland. Other DMV prospects want to go to Maryland. And that's really big type of thing that Malik Washington has in his hands. Maybe another receiver that's a high-level receiver might want to come to Maryland. Maybe a tight end that's really high. Maybe a really good defensive player wants to come to Maryland now that's from the DMV area that's a 4-star. And Maryland has plenty of other guys that they're recruiting. Like, let's talk about Jeffrey Exenor, for example. Maybe he will all of a sudden – Maryland looks a lot more appealing when Malik Washington is throwing you the football than maybe some other quarterback. And I think that it's going to be a domino effect. And when you land one of them, you're going to start watching them knock down one by one. So if we want this class to be as good as it possibly can be, it starts with Malik Washington. Of course, we've gotten some really good players. Iverson Howard's a 4-star, and there's some really good. Jet White has been a 4-star at a time. There's some really good players in the 2025 class. But none of them can do what Malik Washington can do because of his position, his quarterback, his rating, and all those things that come together, and you get a really highly ranked recruit for a Maryland football team. Maybe if he went to Ohio State or if you went to Bama, it's not as big of a deal to them. But for a Maryland football program, we don't usually get guys like this. We don't usually get a guy like this. So it's a domino effect that can really take over this program, that can really change this program a little bit. And we're in a pretty good spot. I'd be lying if I said Maryland football is in a bad spot. I think Coach Loxley's a good player. I think we've done a really good job these last couple of years. Sure, there's been things that's like, okay, why are we doing that? Why are we doing this? But overall, it's been pretty good. But there's still always a new level to everything. That's one thing you have to remember. There's always a new level that your team can hit. There's no such thing as perfect. And I don't think we're hitting perfect anytime soon. So until we go 14-0 and win the college football playoff, or however many games you have to win the college football playoff, until we do that, there's a new height to hit. And right now, landing a kid like Malik Washington brings us to the next level, I think, in terms of recruiting, in terms of a guy that can come in and start right away, in terms of a guy that can give us 3 to 4 years of really high-level quarterback play. But that's not the only reason Friday is a big deal for Maryland football. A couple other guys also make their decision and also make their announcement. And the kind of ironic thing is that it's 2 of Malik Washington's actual teammates at Archbishop Spalding. If you guys don't know Archbishop Spalding, it's a high school. It's not too far from Maryland, from the University of Maryland. It's in the DMV type of area. If I guess you would consider that the DMV area, but I would say it's around about probably an hour, maybe 45 minutes from the University of Maryland. So it's pretty close, not far at all. But 2 of his teammates will make a decision as well. And one kid, his name is Jaden Ships. And this is a guy that we have wanted. He's a pretty highly level recruit. He has plenty of offers on the tables. He's a cornerback. He's 6'1", so he's got some height. He sounds like Maryland is where he's going, which is another kind of thing that I feel a lot better about Malik Washington because I know his teammates are pretty much locked into Maryland. But Malik Washington also, according to the crystal ball, is locked into Maryland. So it's not only a big deal because of Malik Washington, but also Jaden Ships, like I just said, who's ranked as a 3-star, but he's ranked as a pretty highly ranked 3-star, and he has some other offers as well. Like he has NC State, he has Virginia, he has Michigan State, he has Pitt, he has Syracuse, South Carolina, he has Tennessee, he's got Virginia Tech, he's got Wisconsin, he's got West Virginia, he's got Wake Forest. Like, he's got some other offers for sure, but Jaden Ships isn't the only teammate. There's also another teammate of theirs that is making their decision in Delmar White, who is an interesting type of guy that sounds like he's gone under the radar a little bit. 6'1", 285 defensive lineman from also Spalding, like I just said. But he's, I guess, an underrated player that Coach Loxley kind of found, but he's 100% to Maryland right now. So it'll be interesting to see how kind of these three guys. It'll be weird. I feel like if those two guys commit to Maryland and then Malik Washington doesn't, it sounds like those three guys are penciled into Maryland. So tomorrow's a humongous day in recruiting. It's a huge Friday. We get it on a Friday. We get Malik Washington. All could be good. All could be well. And everything could go that way. If we can get Malik Washington, we can get Jaden Ships, and we can get White, then it looks pretty good for Maryland football, and it looks like a pretty good, like a really, I don't want to say start because the 2025 class has already started, but it's a really good continuation of the 2025 class and making this class special. So Malik Washington and his other two teammates tomorrow make their decision, and this decision could absolutely change the trajectory of not only the 2025 class, but Maryland football recruiting for the next couple of years, and then also just the Maryland football program for the next couple of years. We don't want to be watching Malik Washington play for somebody else. Trust me. Maryland's offense has to be run through Roman Hemby. I will talk about that after this ad from the Gametime app. Have you ever wanted to go to a game at the last minute, like a Maryland Terrapins game, but finding tickets is hard? I have been there before. Buying tickets to your favorite event shouldn't be stressful. Gametime is a fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, theater near you, with killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guaranteed. You can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll have. Gametime has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. It's a place to find last-minute tickets and take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. I think that Maryland's offense this year has to be run through Roman Hemby. I think it's a must. I think this year's offense, for a couple of different reasons, has to be ran through Roman Hemby. Let me explain a couple of things. New quarterback for one, and I think that's the biggest reason why. New quarterback, inexperience at quarterback, and I don't know exactly who's going to be the starter. I'm going to continue to guess Tre Moore until it comes down to it, but apparently Billy Edwards is really in the race as well. And let me tell you, first, if Billy Edwards is the quarterback, it has to run through Roman Hemby. It's going to be a run-centric offense, I believe, if Billy Edwards is the quarterback. First of all, Tre Moore is completely new to the system. If we go in there and we can't run the football and we don't run things through Roman Hemby, we're going to be in trouble. And yes, our two best players on offense might just be Caden Prather and Ty Felton. But I still believe that this group, the way our team's constructed, I don't think we're going to run it through them. Last year, we just ran it through the receivers. We could just throw for 1 billion yards, it felt like, and that kept us in a lot of our games, and that won us a lot of games too. But this year's different. It's not the same quarterback. It doesn't feel like the same feel. It doesn't feel like we're going to be able to do that. It doesn't feel like we're just going to be able to have the same accuracy at the quarterback position, a guy that's played for a couple of years. Maybe Tre Moore in year 2 in the Maryland football program. Maybe you can run it more through the receivers. But year 1, if he's starting, I really do believe you have to run it through Roman Hemby in a couple of ways. Of course, you have to run the ball. We can't be in 3rd and longs. That is going to be really hard for It'll be really hard for our passing attack, even with our great wide receivers that have both been selected to preseason All Big Ten. It'll still be really hard to be at a high level offense if we're in third and longs and stuff like that. And I thought last year we got away with it at times because we had Talia, we had Jayson Jones in the slot, and we had Corey Dyches, and we had Caden Prather, and we had Tyfel, and we had all these different skill sets at the receiver position, and it worked. But this year, I don't think we have that same type of talent. I don't think we have that same type of play at the quarterback position, as well as we don't have Corey Dyches at tight end, too. I know Dylan Wade and Preston Howard are really talented, but I still do believe at the end of the day, it has to be Roman Hemby. We have to give him a lot more carries per game. And I'm not talking really about the other running backs. I do like Colby White and Nolan Ray. Has a chance to be, I think, a really good player for the Terps. Nolan Ray is a guy that he's impressed a lot of people for the Terps, but I still do believe that it has to be Roman Hemby. Roman Hemby, all-purpose yards, all different ways. We got to find him a way to get the balls. I think it's got to be screen pass in the passing games. I think short passes in the passing game. If he's matched up against a linebacker, he's going to be able to get open. We just got to give the ball to Roman Hemby because he really has the ability to do a lot of different things. There's a lot of really good running backs in the Big Ten this season, but I'm telling you, Roman Hemby could have a shot at being maybe even the best. I know it sounds crazy, and I know I haven't been I know I haven't been super complimentary because of how last season came off. But when we come down to it, the statistics next year and how these kind of running backs from shapes, I'm not saying he's the best back, but I think statistically next year, don't be surprised if he is. But at the same time, he also could have trouble doing this because Maryland loves to rotate backs. But other schools are going to be rotating backs as well. Ohio State has two really good backs. Penn State has two really big backs. Really good backs. I know Michigan has Donovan Edwards, but they have a couple of guys down the depth chart that we just don't know about that are good players. And so I'm thinking about it, and I'm saying, don't be surprised if our run game is near maybe the top of the Big Ten, just because we're giving a lot more handoffs to Roman Hemby. We're handing it off a lot more. And so don't be surprised if it's near the top compared to our passing numbers completely drop. Just because we're not ready to just give the ball completely to whoever the starter is. It's a much different conservative game plan. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we pass the ball all over the place, but I really do believe that with a new quarterback that's inexperienced, that has either limited experience in the Maryland system or just limited experience overall, I really do think that we have to run the ball with Roman Hemby. And I believe that our offensive line will be better at run blocking rather than pass blocking. We have a bunch of new guys up front, and it's going to be tough for them to pass block against some of these players, some of these really high-level offensive lines that we play against for Maryland football. So I'm saying, or defensive lines that we play against. And so I'm saying with the state of the offensive line as well, I think it's going to be the easiest way. Might be Roman Hemby and some quick screens, some quick stuff. I think also just a lot of more quick game this year to our different receivers, a lot more screen game. We definitely did a decent amount of it, but I think even more of it. But I think Roman Hemby, we should be giving him a ton of carries, as well as Nolan Ray. Nolan Ray's explosive. I should have changed this to more. The offense has to run through Nolan Ray and Roman Hemby, but I've already kind of said my take about it, but I do believe that also Nolan Ray. But we got to give those two guys a lot of carries, a lot of stuff in the receiving game. Because if we don't, I don't know if we can win games like that. I really don't. And maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know if MJ Morris can just carry us on his back shoulder. I don't know if Billy Edwards specifically, can carry us on his back shoulder. So I think that it has to run through Roman Hemby. And I expect Roman Hemby to potentially be an all-conference player because I expect him to get a lot of different types of touches. This is his last year at Maryland, and if he wants to get drafted, and he does have a shot at doing that, there was a time where he was number 2 on Mel Kiper's big board. I love to say that when I talk about Roman Hemby, but I do think we have to kind of change identities. I think we have to run the ball through Roman Hemby. I think that's important. I think that's what we have to do. I think that's how we have to go about it. Let me know if you guys disagree, but I do think that we have to run things through Roman Hemby. What if the Terps don't land Malik Washington tomorrow? I guess that is a possibility. I will talk about that right now. So if the Terps don't land Malik Washington, that's a conversation that I don't want to have, but I think we have to have it. I'm pretty positive. I feel pretty good. I'm going to start off by saying this, that the Maryland is going to land Malik Washington. I feel pretty good about it. I feel my confidence level is probably at 9 out of 10. But crazier things have certainly happened in the recruiting world, in the football world, and just the world overall. Crazier things have definitely happened than Malik Washington not committing to Maryland, or a 247 crystal ball 100% not turning out true. But what if the Terps don't land the 4-star talented top 200 player, top 3 player in Maryland? I think we are in major trouble. I made a segment yesterday that Maryland recruiting could be in trouble. If we don't land Malik Washington, we are certainly in trouble for a couple of different reasons. I don't know who our next quarterback would be. I don't know who our next quarterback prospect would be. I don't know who we would land. And sure, MJ Morris is on the roster, Cameron Edge is on the roster, and Billy Edwards is getting up there in eligibility. But it's like, at the end of the day, these guys aren't going to be here forever. And you want somebody that's going to come in and be a really good player. And if we can't land Malik Washington, I don't know what the second option is. I have no idea. I'd be lying to you guys. We're in trouble. I have no idea who our next quarterback option is. I don't know. I don't know who our 2025. I don't know who it is. We usually like to bring in one quarterback recruit per class, and I have no idea who it is. And that's just me being honest, because all I have focused on is Malik Washington. And if we don't land him, first of all, it's going to hurt the recruiting, because the domino effect might go backwards, if that makes sense to you guys. Instead of being like, oh, it's a domino effect, and oh, now this kid wants to go there. Now that guy wants to go there. Now he wants to go there. It could be like, oh, maybe not Maryland. Instead of, oh yeah, Malik Washington's going there. I want him to throw the ball. And maybe Jeffrey Exnor, who will release his top 3 tomorrow, and Maryland will be in it. Maybe he'll be like, instead, oh, maybe I want to go to Penn State. Maybe I want one of those guys throwing me the football. It could be a reverse domino effect, and we don't want a reverse domino effect. I think that definitely could happen when you see a guy like Malik Washington. I think it could be a reverse domino effect, certainly. I also think it just really hurts the Terps long term. It really will hurt us long term, because eventually, like I said, those 3 guys in our quarterback room could be gone. And the thing is, 2 of them could be gone after this year. Depending on this year goes, 2 of them could transfer. And I think that's a very realistic kind of thing to think, that 2 of those guys might be out of here after this year, depending on who wins a job, depending on who kind of takes a job, depending on how things go next year, on how, if any, let's just how, who's the starter and who gets the snaps and all those different things. And 2 of those guys should be gone. I don't know why I was like kind of blanking on how to say that. One guy's going to get playing time. 2 of the other guys could be gone. It's simple. I don't know why I was like, ooh. But it's pretty simple when it comes to that. And you might need a guy in case of injury. Let's say MJ Morris is a starter. Sure, MJ Morris still has a couple of years left, but we might need a guy. What if MJ Morris gets hurt? We might need Malik Washington to step up. And then it's like, who's after Malik Washington? You always have, or not Malik Washington, MJ Morris. You always have to prepare for the future. And it's also like, you don't get a 4-star quarterback. It's really that simple. You don't get a guy who's 6'4", 200 pounds, a freak athlete, runs like a deer, is tall, needs to fill out his frame for sure. But I've seen him play basketball. This kid's a freakish athlete. You don't get this guy who can throw balls on a dime, can throw it with accuracy, can throw on the run. You can basically do anything you want with this kid. He can run, he can pass. He's a true dual threat type of guy. He looks to pass before he runs. He can sit in the pocket and make throws. He's a nice arm motion. It's pretty quick. It's compact. You lose out on that. And that's going to naturally allow you to not win as many games as you were before. When you have a quarterback and you don't have a quarterback, when you have a lesser talented quarterback, whatever the case is, if you have a guy that's your starter, that's a really good player, and you have another guy that's not as good, but maybe can get the job done, you're not going to have as high of a ceiling as a program. I think Malik Washington boosts our ceiling as a program. I think he boosts what we can do. And if we don't land him, it's going to really hurt for Maryland Terrapins, but we'll see tomorrow at 1. I do feel confident, though. That's all we have for today. Thank you for listening to Locked on Terps. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're here every day talking Maryland football and basketball, so thank you for listening to Locked on Terps.